We got another email. You know, last week we got an invitation.
It from Tim?
No.
Oh, dang.
I meant to email him and tell him we talked about him, but I forgot. You know what I'm saying? This is from Ronald Jackson. So here it is. I watch your podcast on Free Speech TV, and you make some good points and are often very informative. As an older black man, 70s, okay?
He about to cuss us out.
I would have thought by now we would have eliminated the use of the N-word from our discussions.
Stop.
Number, please. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Think about the contradiction on a show.
Come on, Ronald.
On a show supposedly about white supremacy that banters about the N-word. It isn't hip or cool or funny. You're 70 years old. Of course it isn't hip to you, man.
Yeah. Who says hip?
You know what I'm saying?
You need to get your hips checked.
Stop. Don't disrespect. No. We are not disrespecting elders.
Oh, no.
See, that's that side.
Oh, no. Wait. This is what he says.
With me, Ron.
It isn't him.
Don't talk to
or
him
cool.
like that.
Don't watch me watch TV.
Mr. Jackson. It's Mr. Jackson. He
Be
says,
respectful.
It isn't hip or cool or funny. In fact, it mimics the lowest strata of black society.
Okay, Ronald.
The criminals and the ignorant, and the bespeaks a degree of self-hate that only the psychiatrist can explain. I can't imagine all those people who came before and marched and suffered and were jailed and killed would say, I'm proud of that, and this is why we did it. This is where we hoped we would be in 2024. If a white man called you the N-word, you would consider yourself ill-used and be ready to fight. Why? Why, Farouk? Why, Saeed?
Man,
do you perpetrate it? Wait. At what point do we set an example for the young ones? If leaders do not take responsibility, how do we ever eliminate the word? And indeed, the thought associated with it makes us second-class citizens deserving of being treated like the other. I don't believe that cop out, that when we use it with each other, it's okay, because we don't mean it in a racist way. It is part of maintaining the plantation mentality and dehumanizing others. The other aspect of this is that shows a level of immaturity and a lack of seriousness.
Why are you still talking?
Oh, that's fact, because we are immature.
That you can put your work into question. It's time to co-sign that word to the dustbin of history.
So you want to have a funeral for this word like Oprah did?
If you have the urge to use it, stop and ask yourself,
why?
Why is that the correct word? Does it uplift someone or denigrate them? Or are you just trying to appeal to a certain segment? And for what reason?
Well, come on, brother Ronald. He said have some class.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson.
Ronald said
for real.
I mean, here's the thing. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here.
He's not talking to you, and don't talk to Mr. Jackson like that. I think it'd be very interesting.
Wow.
I think it'd be very interesting to actually have that conversation
with
older.
Have a Zoom with Mr. Jackson?
No, with older civil rights icons, because I remember we brought Angela Davis was at event here in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And one of the people were like in a mini dress. And you could just see, like, just like, huh. And I feel like sometimes it's interesting to get, like, some of our elders in a room and be like, is this what you fought for?
Right.
Or is this what you thought? And I think it's very honest because, like, I believe as Black people, we,
absolutely,
how we colloquially talk is always going to be scrutinized because there's always a fear that something that we say or do is going to be weaponized to justify our dehumanization. I wrestle with like how much you be your authentic self in public, but at the end of the day, I think you just gotta be yourself. People have their own conversations, their own words that they use to talk, about other people. White people talk about other white people horribly.
Absolutely.
And so we say the N-word. We do try to like reduce it when we're on free speech so that we don't get buzz.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be me.
Our former colleagues told him he was too light to say the word, and I.
So Farouk, you obviously have smoke.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like
Mr. Jackson,
I don't want to use this platform to address another Black person like that.
Yes,
but what I will say is,
don't call Whoa, no.
Yo, Mr. Jackson gonna come through the door one day
with a switchblade.
Listen,
swing on you with his cane.
The respectability politics arguments.
It's not respectability politics. He's saying he has a problem with the word. But you don't got to use it to talk if you know he don't like it.
Miracle.
Just say this is how I talk. This is my vernacular.
Yes.
This is how I communicate.
Don't find your way to my show and tell me how to talk on my show. Like, if you don't like it, don't watch.
Oh, wow. Well, this is the thing. This is my
watch
piece.
for me. You can edit. Get some of your friends to edit them out, and then you can watch for me, Mr. Jackson.
This is my.
I try not to say it in public.
This is my issue.
Off the record, I'd be like, these are crazy.
And this is my issue with Mr. Jackson. Right, this is my issue. Right,
he wrote a nice letter. He said,
"You 70 years old."
He wrote a Bill Cosby essay. That's what he did.
Definitely.
You try to chastise us and sit us down. I'm trying to.
Time and time again, example after example of systemic racist policies, acts that are harming our community. Us harming him. You know what I'm saying? As a 70-year-old black man, you see the current condition of our community, which we show you every week, right? Mm-hmm. Videos, articles,
almost 200 weeks now,
and
see, Mr. Jackson.
Damn, the spirit of Mr. Jackson.
It's a miracle.
It's like when on the Boondocks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With like
Stink Meter.
Yeah. But again, it's like back to my point, Mr. Jackson. Like, to me, like, I think you would be but again, it's like back to my point, Mr. Jackson. Like, to me, like, I think you would be better off serving your time, attempting to use your intellect and your experience as a 7-year-old black man to work to dismantle the white supremacist structure that you and your generation left in place for our generation to defend ourselves from, right? You know, your generation didn't want separation. You wanted integration.
That's it.
You wanted to taste that bland raisin-filled food, right? You fought to it, right? And what we experienced when we came into these white areas, right? And these white places was straight racism. And the way we protected ourselves was to say, we're going to be authentically us, right? Hip hop came out of that struggle of poverty.
Come on,
of economic insecurity in the Bronx, New York, right?
Let's go.
That gave us a voice to speak truth to power. And one of the main people that was against hip hop, which is now the #1 genre in the country, which has created hundreds of thousands of black multimillionaires, was old brothers like you, Mr. Jackson.
Absolutely. Like your idea.
Yes. So I would say this, Mr. Jackson, you should be happy that you turned on Free Speech TV.
And you've seen some illustrious.
You saw a group of younger black people talking about the issues, discussing it in an intellectual way, you know what I'm saying? Doing the work that we're doing. If you Google One Hood and you look at the work that we do every day in Pittsburgh, specifically for our community to make Pittsburgh a better place, a safer place, Mr. Jackson, the first thing you should have did is went to onehood.org and gave us some type of donation for the work that we do in our community. That's the first thing that you do. So we uplift people every day, Mr. Jackson. And you know what? We do it not by writing emails, but by going into our community, speaking to people that was left behind by your generation, Mr. Jackson, and doing the real work every day. So I would invite you to join us in the work, right? Right. When you see, don't be critical of, because if you join us in the work, if you said, hey man, I like what y'all young people are doing, you know what I'm saying? You know, give me a call at the time, and you became friends with us and a mentor to us, and then you gave us some advice like this, we respect it. But if this is the first time you decide to communicate with us, and it's all on critique about one word that we're using, not about all of the information that we're giving our community to prove the existence of white supremacy, then to me, Mr. Jackson, you are being a tool of white supremacy, the very white supremacy that we are fighting every day.
If I may read an excerpt.
Before you start, I think also...
I'm tired of you interrupting me.
I want to lead into what you're about to say. I think before you start, there is this conversation that a lot of elders do have a problem with when we say the N-word. And I would argue that it is also imperative to sit there in your discomfort and think about, what do you hear when we say it, and who taught you to sit there and feel pain or anger or anguish when you hear it, and compare it to the violence that a white person says when they say it. And also think about what it goes to reclaim something, to laugh and to use a word that you know can no longer have the power to hurt and harm and disparage your community. There is a conversation that we do have about what words we need to keep and how we need to move on from certain memories that are in our DNA. And so while I hear you, Mr. Jackson, I would also encourage you. And we have these conversations here. We have these conversations with our partners because there are other people who feel the same way you do. And the same thing we say to them and we're saying to you is, we show up who we are. We show up with our language, with our colloquialisms, with our slang. And if this show is not for you and we as people are not for you, that is okay. But we also want you to take a moment and think about, what is it about that language and that word and the words that we are using that doesn't sit with you? And what does it also mean when words that we use are used against us, whether it's with the RAP Act, with not passing the RAP Act or the RICO Act or these gang enhancements? How are our words still policed and weaponized against us
by you,
and used to build incarceration, used to justify who is not worthy of support and respect, and how we are able to build within our community, intercommunally, to say, you know what, you use words that I don't like, but I still see you as a person. I still see you as my Black brother, my Black friend.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you wrote this email out of love, respect, and adoration for a fellow Black person.
We hope so.
And so that's how I'm engaging you and just asking you, even at 70, I'm pretty sure you lived a long life. You saw a lot of things, but just to take a second and just consider a different side. And thank you for watching and for caring to write to us.
Mr. Saeed.
I hope that when people from this generation speak about the importance of the N-word and whether or not we should say it, are you including LGBTQIA considerations for those Black lives that deserve to be protected? Or is that not part of your original civil rights doctrine?